Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video is about the legendary Esper that needs a buff, or what is the buff idea for this legendary Esper. Like, they have been kind of weak for quite some time already. For example, Jiang Jiu Li is like being the meme legendary Shimmer Esper now. And how can we buff him? Or what is the way, or what is the idea to buff him? So there's a player that actually submit this Google form to show me like what is his idea. He compiled a few players' idea as well, but he don't want me to mention his name, so I'll keep it as a secret. And then he asked a few players to give suggestion as well, and then he compiled it and make it into a Google form. And this Google form has already been submitted to the VIP service because he's one of the VIP member. So the VIP service also thank you for providing the suggestion for the legendary Esper and the rare Esper. So there's also the rare Esper adjustment for the resonance as well he have submit. So we have no idea if they are really gonna implement this idea or gonna take his idea. But they did mention that make sure the team will receive his suggestion and hopefully will be optimize this in the future. So we will see how is it gonna go in the future, right? So but I'm gonna share out his idea now. Okay, so first, Jiang Jiu Li. So Jiang Jiu Li currently the Rezo 2 is kind of like useless because you know how hard to get a Shimmer Esper, right? And then when you get a Shimmer Esper, the only effect that you're gonna get is getting a Seer for your kit. But meanwhile, Taver have like everything in his kit. He have like Seer from his S1 already, and his R2 changes everything because you doesn't need any crit at all. But if we look at Jiang Jiu Li here, your R2 only get a Seer, which is totally nonsense, right? So his suggestion is the Seer effect from the R2 move to the base kit. So the which means your R0 Jiang Jiu Li himself is gonna have a Seer effect in his S1, which is pretty good, right? So you don't have a Seer at R2. Then he also suggests that your S2, the demon mode passive, won't affected by any ability, which is it won't get countered by Nusi or Boni or Iliad, for example. But this also would so he also won't get benefit from like Ahmed or like Shachiko, all these things to reduce the cooldown as well. Then his R2 effect, he suggests that upon entering demon mode gets 1 turn. So the moment you go into demon mode, you straight away get a turn and you go damage the enemy. But there's something that I don't like is because when you go into demon mode, you get 1 turn. Then your standoff buff is going to go off because the standoff buff is only for 1 turn, unless they increase the standoff buff to 2 turn, or they make it the gain 1 turn doesn't count as a turn. It's more like a pursuit attack. Like you go into demon mode, you straight away attack, something like this, but it don't count as a turn, maybe. Then for the R6, you gain 1 turn upon killing an enemy. This is his suggestion. So the current R6 now is you kill someone in demon mode, then they can't be revived. But this passive itself, Taver already have. Taver R0 already have the effect of R2 Jiang Jiu Li and R6 Jiang Jiu Li. Like, that was the point for Jiang Jiu Li. What's the point for Jiang Jiu Li's resonance, right? So this is his suggestion. Then I also got another suggestion is from someone. He also can't mention his name. So he suggests that at R0, his passive can't be increased before taking his first turn. So for example, before Jiang Jiu Li move, right, and then let's say you got outspeed by enemy Nusi, then enemy Nusi is going to cast her S3 to increase your cooldown. But before Jiang Jiu Li takes his turn, his S2 will not increase cooldown, but he will get the increased cooldown effect after he takes his turn. For example, if Jiang Jiu Li takes his turn first, then your Nusi only CD up, then it's okay. So he suggests something like this. And he also suggests that his S1 currently is only dealing 1 damage, right? It's 95% attack, and then it's only 1 hit. Then he suggests that this S1 damage separate into 3 damage. So maybe like 30% per hit, and then can hit 3 times. So that Jiang Jiu Li can damage to Anna, because Anna will always block the first hit, and then Jiang Jiu Li now is going to hit 3 hit. So the second hit and third hit will go through to Anna. So he's suggesting something like this, which is fine as well. And then R2, when he kill an enemy, Jiang Jiu Li CD reduced by 1 turn, once per turn, which is very good because it affects Jiang Jiu Li's demon mode to let Jiang Jiu Li go into his demon mode more often. Then for his R6, he suggests that when killing an enemy in when he's in demon mode, he kill one enemy, increase the demon form, this demon mode, by 1 turn. Because when currently we only have demon mode for 2 turns, right? Then you have to wait the cooldown again. So R6 effect might be very interesting because every time you kill an enemy in demon mode, you extend your demon mode. So I think this kit itself is more suitable for Jiang Jiu Li because Jiang Jiu Li is a berserker and it fits to the berserker style itself. Where you in berserk mode, you kill someone, you extend your berserk mode, and then when you kill someone, you increase your cooldown, so you're gonna have your berserk mode again. So I'm looking forward to these changes more than this one. But let's see what kind of changes he'll get if they really buff Jiang Jiu Li. Who knows, right? I don't know if they really are they gonna even buff Jiang Jiu Li. Then the next one, Ife. If you have watched my previous tier list or the other players tier list as well, you'll notice that Ife is always at her own Ife cute tier. Because Ife is not doing anything much now. Like, you are a poison Esper, like poison legendary Esper, but Kara can easily outshine you in a poison fight. Like, then what's the point for Ife? So the suggestion for Ife is her S2. If the target's already inflicted with poison, you apply the poison damage immediately while reducing the duration by 1 turn. So this thing here is gonna be good because if we look at Camille have this thing. If the target is inflicted with bleed, then we straight away trigger the bleed damage immediately. That's why Camille is not at Camille, don't have her own Camille tier, because she's the legendary bleed Esper and she can straight away trigger the bleed stack on the enemy, which is good. Then if Ife can do this thing as well, since Ife can already afflict poison, right? Then the S2 herself will straight away trigger the poison the effect, which is gonna be amazing. I agree with the S2 effect if they're gonna apply this. And then S3, you're gonna dispel all enemy, all buff from all enemy, and then if the enemy is inflicted with poison, then Ife is able to steal AP for per stack poison. So if enemy have 5 stack, you're gonna steal 25% AP from the poison enemy. Then with these changes, with these 2 simple changes, Ife might even appear in PvP meta. Because for example, you put Hilda poison the enemy already, right? And then, okay, for example, Hilda, now we're gonna match Hilda with Tricky, right? And Tricky is for us to dispel the enemy buff. Then if Ife have this buff, then Ife can dispel all the enemy buffers and inflict poison already. And then Ife is gonna steal some AP, and then Hilda is gonna apply sleep and poison. When Ife takes a turn again, Ife is gonna trigger the poison damage immediately without letting them take their turn. Then Ife and Hilda will be like an amazing combo if they put these changes. Okay, so let's see the next one, Elaine. Okay, so what he's suggesting is the R2 effect of the current Elaine one, just make it to a base kit, and then he gonna suggest to make R2 effect to enemy sleep won't remove by damage. So it's gonna be like the Hilda sleep. Hilda's effect, sleep effect for R6 won't get awake when they get hit. So what he's suggesting is Elaine also have this passive, but it's only gonna be from R6, R2. Okay, then for Elaine wise, I don't think she really needs a buff because she's doing her own job already. Like killing Anna, one of the best choice now, right? Elaine and Ginny. So I don't think she really needs a massive buff now. But let's see. The next one is Ophelia. Ophelia was one of my favorite Esper. I even have her fully skilled up and she's R6, but sadly she's not that good, right? So the suggestion for the changes is from the R2 effect, this one. When a target isn't killed, then you get shield, right? So the suggestion is this effect, the R2 effect, move to base kit herself. So herself from the R0 effect have already this gain shield effect. And then, so the R2 effect will change to Ophelia killed the enemy cannot be revived. and cannot prevent from dying. So why this word of cannot prevent from dying is, for example, Olive passive. Olive passive isn't making someone revive, but making someone prevent to die. And Mavis one as well. Mavis one is when the target is when her ally is gonna die, then Mavis will prevent their ally to die and go into graveless mode. So his suggestion is Ophelia R2, when Ophelia able to kill someone, that the target will not get revived and won't get prevent die. So Oli passive or massive Mavis passive cannot save that target if Ophelia is R2 and Ophelia killed that target. Then for the R6 effect, for this one, so R6 effect is we get the max pursuit time increased to 4 times, so we pursue one more time. But his suggestion is the pursuit damage on the same enemy is no longer reduced. So, because the current now is every time we pursue on the same enemy, right? Our pursuit damage on the same enemy is reduced by 20% per hit. So the damage is getting lower and lower and lower. But now, his suggestion is R6 effect, you no longer get this damage reduce effect. So every time your pursuit attack on the same target will always be the same damage. You won't get lower damage. So I think it makes sense. And then, okay, so for Javid is considered as a meme Esper Javid, right? So his suggestion is the S1, the defend down here. That down currently the defend down, there's a condition which is you can only inflict defend down when the targets have judgment seal. So his suggestion is the S1, the defend down here, take away the requirement for the judgments, the defend down to land. So no longer need the judgment seal on the target to land the defend down. And then the S2 here, increase, there's a new effect for it. So you can extend the duration of judgment seal on the target who already have judgment seal. So you can, cause the main point for Javid is to make use of make use of the judgment seal damage, right? The debuff. So S2, if S2 can extend the judgment seal debuff, which is a very good thing for Javid. Then for S3, increase one effect, which is attack up to his kit, and then gonna inflict disease for 3 turns and bound for 2 turns. So what is bound? Bound is gonna be a new debuff which cannot let the target enemy who inflicted with debuff bound to trigger their passive skill. For example, Oli. So Oli cannot trigger his passive skill to save someone when he's on bound debuff. Something like this. So that is his suggestion. Then for the Scarlet Flame effect is, currently the effect is to dispel all duty effect from Javid, right? But it's not really useful is because not a lot of duty effect is in our current meta other than just poison, right? His suggestion is the Scarlet Flame effect that dispel all duty effect, change it to dispel all debuff when you start his turn. Then Javid attack will also increase by the number of debuff dispel from the Scarlet Flame itself. So the more debuff you dispel due to this Scarlet Flame effect, the more damage you're gonna deal. Then for his Resonant effect, the number of target taking splash damage from his S1, right, change it to R1. And then the R2 effect, the attack up and Scarlet Flame target from that he buffed from himself, change to all ally. I think it's a bit too OP because if all ally can also dispel all debuff from themselves due to the Scarlet Flame effect, it's a bit too OP. So I think maybe change the attack up to all ally will be good enough. And then for the R6, the current R6 one is Scarlet Flame can dispel all debuff now. Instead of just DOT effect, this one become the base effect already, right? Then for the R6, make his S3 is one target, then AoE. Make it to both AoE damage. Now currently it's attack one enemy 140% attack first, then attack all enemy with 70% attack. But with the new R6 effect, it's gonna be the first hit here, it's gonna be AoE already, and then AoE again. So it's double AoE damage for his R6. The R6 is not really something broken. Maybe the R6 is the R2 is something more interesting to go with. Okay, so for the next one is Cecilia. So for Cecilia, R2 effect is your S1 is gonna heal Cecilia herself and the ally with the lowest HP percentage. So if without R2, right, it's just healing herself. Then R2, you're gonna heal her and the lowest HP target. Then his suggestion is also grants immunity for 1 turn to the heal ally. So if you, let's say you put Cecilia and Avatara, then it's gonna be very interesting because she Avatara with her S1, she's gonna heal herself and then heal the lowest ally and then give 1 turn of immunity on the ally. So it's kind of like very protective if they make these changes. And then the R6 effect, currently the R6 effect is already very broken, right? Because when Cecilia die or when you cast S2 from Cecilia, then the revived ally will AP boost to 100%. Then, so for the R6 effect changes is, so the current R6 is a bit broken already, which is the revived ally AP boost to 100%. So his suggestion is to make it more broken is, if you cast it manually and there's no ally fainted, no ally died, so the all ally AP plus 100% became to not just the fallen ally, also including the alive ally to 100%, boost everyone, technically just boost everyone AP to 100%, and then if no one die, this cooldown will reduce 2 turns, so it becomes 4 turns cooldown if there's no one die and you cast the S2 manually by yourself. Because currently now the AI herself will only cast S2 when there's someone died. Then Cecilia will revive them and then everyone will get a shield, and then with AP push by 20%. So now if you are R6, you're gonna cast the AP push 100% to all ally and then reduce this cooldown by 2 turns if there's no one die. Okay, so I think it's not really necessary to have this R6 effect. I think the R2 effect will make it very strong already without the R6. Then for Unas, okay, so Unas here, not really much changes. It's just the S3 immunity. The immunity we have now is currently just 1 turn for the ally, right? Then his suggestion is just add immunity for 2 turns for herself. Not himself, right? It's everyone. So his suggestion is to make S3 effect to gain immunity for 2 turns for everyone when he casts S3. So instead of just 1 turn for the whole team and he himself don't have the immunity, just make everyone have 2 turns of immunity. So it's gonna be like Clara but without heal, but you're gonna apply immunity for the whole team, which is very good. Okay, then for Yuuhime buff is for her S2 currently now is just inflicting defense down for 1 turn. Then his suggestion is inflict defense down and also add a buff blocker for 2 turns here. So it's just not just defense down and also inflict buff blocker. Then for the S3, Yuuhime buff is the S3, you're gonna reduce the max HP cap first, then only you deal damage. Because now is after you deal the damage already, then you only inflict the max HP cap reduction. So it's kind of weird because you already deal the damage, then you only reduce the max HP cap. So which means the damage that you deal before the max HP reduction cap is wasted. So just change the orders, so you reduce the max HP cap first, then only deal the damage. Then for the R2 effect, so this is the R2 effect he suggests to change, which is kind of like you're gonna have a new buff to increase your attack per stack, something like this. And then when you have this new buff, the death toll reach 6 stack, you're gonna consume the stack and straight away launch a pursuit attack with S2, something like this. Then for R6, when you reach 6 stack of the death toll, you're gonna cast S3 instead of S2, which is interesting because you're gonna keep rotating your stack, and then the faster you get the stack, the more S3 you're gonna cast more often. So Yuuhime is gonna be like Nora. So Nora, you're gonna keep getting her own unique stack and then keep casting her passive damage, right? Then for Yuuhime is you're gonna keep getting the death toll stack to increase your damage, and then you're gonna consume them and cast S3, something like this. And then for Liling, his suggestion is just revert the previous nerf, because Liling got nerfed last time, so that's why Liling became like not that OP already. So just revert back the previous nerf and then Liling will already be good. Okay, so that's all for the legendary Esper buff suggestion. So how do you guys think about the buff or the adjustment for the legendary Esper, or which one you agree, which one you don't agree, or which one do you think they doesn't deserve a buff? So let's say maybe you think Cecilia doesn't deserve the buff, it's already strong enough, or maybe you think Liling is good in his current position now, doesn't need a revert. Feel free to comment down your own suggestion or your opinion. We can have a discussion together, right? So that's all for the video today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.